Where do you go when you need parts? Well, I'm going to the parts department. It is right here. So we got this Model S here, 2013 salvage that we bought. And yeah, we got some videos about it, so go check them out if you haven't seen those yet. But yeah, this is our parts department. Some of the parts are sold already, some of the parts are still here. And what we need today for this repair will be this link right here, the stabilizer link, and then this control arm down here where the strut attaches to. So in the other one, the strut right there has some play, and on these here, on the other car, these boots, they're busted. So I'm gonna take this one off, that one off, and then over there on the other side we're also gonna take this here off. And I think the control arm that we have on our Model S is still okay on the other side, so we only need one, and then we'll drive it, and maybe if it rattles again, maybe then I can hear it. I couldn't get it to feel, I couldn't get to feel any play down there when I put the pry bar in, so we'll see. But yeah, this here is our parts department, so we'll take the parts from here. Yes, there's a chance that these parts don't last too long, but I got them, so I might as well use them. This here will be the easy one because we have a lot of access. In the other one we won't, so this is a good place to practice on how to take this off. So here for the link there is a Allen head inside the bolt, and then you got a nut. So quite commonly when you're trying to loosen the nut, the bolt will turn, so you use a wrench on the nut and an Allen head to hold the bolt, and that's on both ends. Then to get the arm out, we gotta take the strut off down here. We gotta take this bolt in there out, and that bolt in there actually has washers that are off center, so you can adjust the alignment. So on that one you want to get the nut off and not loosen on the bolt side. You want to loosen the nut side first and then pull the bolt straight out, otherwise you're trying to just spin that washer and move the arm forward and back the whole time you're turning, so that's not what we want. And then we got one other bolt down here that may be a little tricky because it goes into the ball joint there, so that may spin as well. So I like to use an impact for that. I'm kind of old-fashioned. I have air tools. Way back when there was no battery power tools like today, so I still have my air tools, and at this point it's financially smarter to keep going with my air tools rather than buying battery power tools, even though it has its disadvantage because you need an air hose and a noisy compressor. But yeah, so I'm going to be trying to do this here, this with an impact. This down here I can't get on with the impact, so I got to do that with a wrench. Yeah, I have to see where I can get to with the impact and what I have to do with a wrench, but I got the tools out here. This nut here is a 15 millimeter. That in here is a 5 millimeter Allen head. Then we got 21 millimeter nuts and bolt, 21 down there, and then I think over there we have a 22 and a 21. So you need a few different tools to do this job, but well, we'll see how it goes. Okay, this one came off nicely. The problem is there, I can't get to it with the impact, so that may be a little issue. Let's see here, I think those are, we got 21, and on the back side, yep. All right, now we need the wrench. Okay. There we go. You don't have to screw this out, but if you're using the impact, you can kind of kink it on it and pull and push a little bit with your fingers to get those bolts out easier. So we got that one off as well. Now let's see, maybe we can do this one down here. All right, so I got the problem down there, that it's just like here where we got the bolt that comes out of the ball joint, it spins. So this one down here should also have a Allen head in there. And so I gotta use an Allen head and a wrench to undo that one. All right, this down here is a 6mm Allen head. And so gotta go on with the wrench. And then let's see here, come on. There we go. Oh, that holds hard here. There we go. All right, there we go. And there were 2 washers, kind of special washers. So you gotta make sure you know how they came off. So these 2 were facing together like that. Then under here we got a 22. And that's the one where we have to loosen the nut, because otherwise we'll turn the bolt with the washer. Okay, then we got the bolt. So let's see here. There. So if you look at the bolt, it's got 2 grooves and the washer is shaped like this. So if we would, you can see the washer's offset. If we would turn the bolt, that would turn the washer and move the arm forward and back as we loosen it up. So we want to take the nut off first so we can take the washer off, pull the bolt out. There we go. That's the arm. And well, hopefully that one works better. Sometimes if this gets spun while you're trying to loosen it, then after that it will have play. So we don't know, we'll find out. So that's usually best if you use new, but we got this, so we'll try this. Other than that, it looks okay. Doesn't really show any huge signs of wear or major cracks here in the bushing, so we'll put it in and we'll see. So now here, unfortunately, we can't get on with the impact, so we gotta do a Allen head in there. And now this time I have a ratchet wrench. I got one that's the right size here. So that makes it a little bit easier. All right, now, so there is some tension on it right now. Obviously the bar goes across and is attached on the other side as well. So this whole weight here pulls a little bit on either side. So if we wiggle this around, there we go, then we can get it out. And then you want to make sure with this that you know which top and bottom is. And we got a mark here, so that's the top. Because the way it's shaped, it's got to go in the correct direction, so the mark is on top. Well, and that's basically all we need. I need the stabilizer link from the other side as well. Actually, now looking at this, I didn't see that earlier. It's busted too, so that's no good. So, well, I guess I'll pull the one on the other side out, see how it is. But here, I think we need to get a new stabilizer link, because it doesn't make sense to replace a broken one with a broken one. Now we gotta get the control arm out of here and put the new old control arm in. So, and as you can see here, I got the back end sitting on blocks, so the weight's fully on those blocks. On the other side, we're on the ground. And here, this wheel here, this front wheel is barely touching. If actually the wheel wouldn't be on there, it would, the suspension would be off the ground. So I'm going to use this floor jack here that is currently not bearing any weight. And let's see that we're on the jack pad here. There we go. And see, just this little bit, and now the wheel's off the ground. I'm gonna gain a little extra height here, but safety concern, hydraulic jacks failing. If this jack would fail, that's as far down as the car would come. The car would not be crashing down on the ground because it sits on the ground on the other two wheels on the other side, plus back here it sits on the block. So there's no way it will come down and crush me. So yeah, first gotta get the wheel off and gotta get in there. This will be a little tougher than on the salvage one that sat on top of the trailer, where I could walk right up to it and work right in front of me. So here I kind of gotta be under there. Kind of sucks, but it is what it is. We're out in the boonies, so we'll deal with it. So this is a little tighter to get in here. We got all this stuff here that we didn't have on the other one. But essentially it's the same deal here. We got this one that needs to come out that attaches to the strut. We got that one back there. That is the one that has the washer on there for alignment adjustment, so we need to mark it before we take it out so that we can put it back in the same exact position, because we want this to be aligned again. And if you mark this correctly, this will be pretty darn exact. I mean, it's best if you do an alignment after it, but even if you just mark it, you're probably pretty much right on. And then we got this one under here, this one right here, and then we can get this control arm out. So we also have the stabilizer link right here. Gotta see what I'm doing with this one, since the one that came from the salvage has a broken boot just like this one here. I could probably take the lower boot and install it on the upper part, on the other link that I have. Maybe that works, but maybe that other link is worn out too. I don't know. I never drove the other car, so I'm not sure if it would make a clunky noise or not. Actually, I'm not even 100% positive that this one here creates a noise at this point. I know this one down here, if I put a pry bar in here, I can move it up and down, and that shouldn't be the case. So I'm pretty sure the clunky noise that I mainly hear is coming from right here, and so that's why we're replacing that control arm. we have a lot of stuff going on here that we didn't have on the other one. One of the things is the strut here actually has a coil spring on it. So we may have a little more tension on the whole thing. The other one had an air spring on it. There was still air in it actually at the time. But so we'll see how this here goes. It may be a little bit different. Maybe the out isn't too bad, but the in may be worse. Well, I guess we'll start with that one and see if we can take this out. So there is definitely tension on this. I noticed that immediately. Maybe this bolt suffered a little bit from coming out on the threads here. We can use the other one. But yes, so the strut right now is actually pressing down onto that control arm, which will help us to get the control arm out, but not in. So, all right. So for marking those that washer back there, we can use a marker, or we could use a center punch where you punch one's on the washer and one's on the arm, or we can mark it with this. It's a little tricky. Maybe we'll try the center punch first. Not sure if I can get in there to actually get a nice mark on this. Where is it? Yeah, I can't get I can get them both in, but then I can't hammer on it, can't hit it. So okay, and so I marked it in 2 places. Here you can see the 2 marks that I made. There's always one on the washer and then one on the subframe. So I can realign the washer to those 2 marks and I should be right on again. Okay, so now gotta see a lot less room now. All right, I got the nut loose and then the bolt started turning, so we gotta hold the other side. Okay, so I got the nut off, the bolt's still in there. There's still tension on the whole thing. I mean, the strut's pressing down on it. So I move on and do this bolt joint out here first. And then hopefully that will release all the tension. I can drop the arm here and then pull the bolt out and, well, have it out. And we'll try with the impact first. Okay, it broke loose, but well, the bolt is spinning, so the whole joint is spinning. So we need to get the Allen head. I believe it's this one here. There we go. So this seems to be a lock nut because it holds extremely hard, even though the joint is loose. And that was the same thing on the other one when I took it off. There we go. Got that part done. Now we'll see. Well, nothing's gonna drop. My thinking was backwards. I actually, for some reason, was thinking the control arm was in from the bottom, but it's in from the top. And so with the strut pressing down on the control arm right now, it presses the control arm into the steering knuckle, this part here. So it's not releasing any tension anywhere at this point. So an option is to undo this up here, undo it from the upper, this A arm or control arm, whatever you want to call it. That would release this whole thing and allow it to drop. That would be an option. Or I could get tools in here and clamp down on the springs, which is another option. They're both not optimal. I may, because the springs are actually pressing down, I will have to get that back up somehow anyway when I put it back together. And there's possibility, so if I undo it up here, this will drop. The spring will expand to the max. I'm not sure how far that is. And when I put it back together, I would attach the strut to the A arm, or to the control arm first, and then put the floor jack basically under here, just under the steering knuckle here under the hub, and lift that back up and compress the spring. So that would be an option, or use the tools. So I think I'm gonna undo this bolt up here and see if I can get it from there. So we got a wire harness coming here that is for the ABS, for the sensor. And so I'm just gonna undo the two little clampy things there. You just pull them out. So we got a little room for this to move. Not sure, I think we're okay with the brake line. The brake line has this attachment right here that's on the strut. And so it's a little tight in here. So we got this coming over here to the brake caliper. And this may be a little short. Once this whole thing tips out, we may put some tension on that hose. So I gotta pay attention to that. I may have to undo this little clip right there. So, but I think I'm gonna undo this bolt right here. There's a big old Torx right there, probably 35 or so, 40. And then over here, that looks like a 14 millimeter. And then hopefully we can just undo this and press that control arm, that A arm right here up and out of there, and bring this here out this way, and maybe. Let's try. All right, interesting. I got Torx sockets here. One's labeled T50, one's labeled T47, and they look pretty much identical. And if I put them in here, actually the one that's labeled T50 almost has more play in there than the T47. That is kind of weird. Whatever, we'll take the one that fits tighter, which in this case is this one here that's labeled T47. So I don't know if that's maybe the better quality one or what it is. The other side here is a 15. There we go. Yep, there we go. Okay, so that came loose real easy. Gotta get the bolt out. Let's grab the shorter bar here. Okay, So we got this bolt out, and the A-arm came up. I don't think the whole shebang went down, as I think the control arm, the A-arm up here went up instead. Ah, there we go. Okay, I just caught it with my arm here. So I gave it a little tension on this. Let's see if we can undo this here. Too many things to hold at once. I'm gonna undo this clip here on the brake line. There we go. Get the brake line out. Let's see here. Can we get this out? It's a little Christmas tree kind. Come on. Oh. I don't have the right tool for it, but okay. So now I'm hitting on. It's a little tough right now here. Okay, so you can see down here, let's get this out of the way. We're out. This is out. Back there we have a bolt in. Now this folded over the stab link here, the stabilizer bar link, which that's kind of an issue now. The stabilizer bar is trying to act the way it's supposed to even out the two sides, but since we're sitting at an angle, that kind of makes it a little tougher here to work with this. So basically at this point I need something to hold up this whole shebang here, because I can't get this here out, this little thing right here, and if I let go I'm pulling on there. So I need to figure something out here real quick. All right. I was able to get this out and then fold this here up. And I just noticed something really bad that I was not expecting. So that makes my whole thing a little more difficult. I'll show you this in a second. I need to figure out how to secure this up here. I need to put a strap from the steering knuckle over to the spring or something to hold it, or to the A-arm up here. Or actually maybe I could put it back on the A-arm right now. I wonder if that's possible. There we go. Alright, that works. Took it back to the A-arm. So, and here we got the control arm. And let's give you a look down here. Right there's the problem. This here is the battery pack, and this is hitting the battery pack. So to get this bolt out, I have to drop the battery pack. Not sure what the service manual says about that. And now that I mentioned the service manual, I mean, you can always look in the service manual and see what they say how to do this. And so if you don't have a service manual, there should be a link popping up right here. Go watch that video and download your free service manual from Tesla. Actually, you don't download it, you subscribe to it. And I'm pretty sure they actually say nowadays to cut the bolt and buy a new bolt and put it in from the other side. Since it doesn't matter which way it goes in, we got the washer on one side, and the bolt itself has a fixed washer as well, so that we have basically the same look on both sides, and it will force it evenly on both sides to move when you turn it. So it doesn't matter. Well, there's a little bit of an issue. I do have a bolt from the other car, so I can cut this one, but my washer with the marks is over here, right? So then when I reinstall it, my washer goes over to the other side, and that's going to be the problem. So what I need to do right now is I need to put that washer back on the bolt, set the bolt into the correct position so my marks line up, and then I need to mark the other side somehow the same way. But then I still have a problem because I'm going to use a new bolt. It's tricky. I can't do an alignment here. That's definitely the problem. I mean, I can put it back together and drive it to get an alignment, but I prefer not having to do an alignment at all. I just want to set it back to where it was. I'm definitely not going to take the battery pack out, so I will have to cut this bolt. I will do some more markings here and see what I can come up with. I gotta go grab the other bolt from the other car and see if I can put this washer all the way onto the bolt. How far I can put this on, I don't know. I don't remember if the grooves go all the way across. If they do, then I can basically copy those markings, I guess, to the other side. Or actually, when I cut this off, I should be able to transfer that somehow to the other side. Well, I'll try to figure that out. For now, I gotta go get the other bolt and get something to cut this bolt out as well. Need to get a grinder with a cutting disc on it, and then we'll go from there. All right, so I grabbed the control arm and I took the bolt out. That is the control arm from the salvage one, and I got this bolt here. So, and you can see that's how that washer looks like, and then the other washer goes on like this from the other side. So, and this is my washer with the markings on it, and it will go on like this. It will be in the vehicle right here. And so somehow I need to transfer the markings from here to here, but then the bolts go and be going this way. So I think then my markings would be reversed, wouldn't they? Huh. Well, heck, I'm confusing myself here. You got a good idea on how to do this? I don't really want to do an alignment, but I want to be pretty correct. So if you got any ideas, put them down below in the comments. You know, what would you do? I mean, there's no way around to other than cutting the bolt unless we want to drop the battery pack, and that is not happening. So I gotta make sure I get these marks over here so that when the bolt is not in this way, but that way, these marks are in the right position that I have here, so that this bolt is going to be in the right position. Let me know what you would do down below in the comment section. So, well, I definitely need to cut out the bolt, cut off the head so I can get it out. So I gotta get a grinder with a cutting disc. Well, life isn't easy. I got a whole bunch of tools here. 1-angle grinder, 2-angle grinder. These were electric. This is an air, a smaller one. This is also an air, and it is a 90, really small, so you can reach in. And, well, then I got the reciprocating saw. And, yeah, well, guess what? This would be the easiest with the cutting blades here, one of these two. This one, too big, can't fit it in there. This one with the small head here, compared to this, it's a little bit smaller, it's a little bit narrower. Almost, but I can't get a nice good cut on it without possibly cutting something else, or at least touching. This one would almost go in, but just right here it actually hits on the control arm, and so it doesn't work either. Yeah, this one I can't get in there at all. That doesn't do anything. So this is it. I chose a fine-tooth blade. I suspect that bolt to be relatively hard. I gotta be careful when I'm under there that I don't poke the back, what's behind it there, so I can't actually set the saw onto the bracket or anything. I gotta hold it, so, and I hope the bolt doesn't spin. Yeah, it'll be a little tricky, and this would be the fastest, but this is the way we gotta go, so that's what it is. Oh heck. Can you see this? Little bit of nothing. Holy crap. That ain't going anywhere. I just burned that blade up. Huh. And this blade is called the torch. So it's supposed to handle the heat and be able to, I guess, cut this stuff. But holy crap, I got basically nowhere. That is no fun. Huh. Look at this blade. The teeth are gone. Holy guacamole. Yeah, that ain't working either. So I need to see if I can get in with an angle grinder and maybe do something somehow. This one is my best possible option, so I'll see if I can get in there with this. No way. I don't know. Let me see with this one again. Nope, not this one either. I mean, I kind of knew when I had them out here and tried that they don't work. I was hoping that the reciprocating saw would cut a little bit, well, a little bit more than what it does, but that was like nothing. So I don't know. I need something, I think, with a larger blade on it, probably. Either smaller head, like a grinder with a very small head here, or with a larger blade, so that I got more distance from here in, so I come past the head further, then maybe I could make it. So these are 4-inch grinders here. They're always pretty handy in my opinion because they're super small, so they're easy to handle, but they can do big work. But maybe it needs to be a 4.5 or maybe even way bigger than that. So, well, I gotta see what I can come up with, I guess, and we'll go from there. It didn't take me long to find a tool. Well, at least not for you. For you, it's a couple seconds later. For me, it's actually 24 hours later, a day later. I got myself a new angle grinder. Has a relatively small head, but it can accept 6-inch plates. So that gives me more distance here. And I should be able to reach and cut this one out. It's still tight because of this bigger wheel that still creates issues around it. So I got to pay attention to not cut anything else. But yeah, and this one is a little longer than the other two I had, and it's got the trigger in the back, so I can actually hold it towards the back. I didn't put the shield on so that the shield is not in the way when I'm under there. It's not the best way to do it this way, but well, this here calls for extreme measures, I think. So this should work. And by the way, this is a Hercules from Harbor Freight, and I got a great deal on this. This is $99.99. And when I got in the store and looked on the shelf, it said for Track Club member, it's $49.99. That means 50% off. And so I asked somebody, well, how much is it to become a Track Club member? They said like $33. I said, well, yeah, because now this thing cost me basically $83 instead of $100. So, and I got the Track Club membership now and can take advantage of other sales and things they have for Track Club members for 1 year. So this was a pretty good deal. Well, now I gotta get under there and we'll try to cut this bolt out. All right, got it out. Was a little tricky, but well, there's the leftover. I got a little bit on here, a little bit there, but we don't need that arm anyway. But even if we still would need it, this is not a big deal here. I scratched it, well, scratched it, ground a little bit up there. Well, but we're pretty good. Battery pack's clean, so it's all right. And now we should be able to get the bolt out going that direction. Here we go. Let's see. Gotta get this out somehow. And there we go. Here we go. Out it is. It's too bad that I had to cut the special bolt. Would be nice to have such a special bolt. Actually, I could probably sell this because there's other people that will have to cut them. But now, not anymore. So, where is it? Oh, right here. Okay, did you think about my washer problem and leave a comment down below? How we gonna mark this correctly? So anyway, if I put this on this way, let me see. So if I put this on this way, the way it basically belongs, and I got my markings here and would transfer them over here, then I would be in the wrong position. So I can't just take it like this because basically it will be like this. So I got to put the washer on the wrong way with my markings facing towards the head, put it on and transfer them over here. And I just eyeballed this, so I marked it as close as possible. I don't know if you can see this here. It looks pretty close. So, well, so now the markings that I have on my bolt here should match the markings that I have on the bracket down there when I push the bolt in this way. And then the washer just goes on the other side. And well, I probably should do an alignment after that. Well, I'll see how it drives first, and then maybe I go from there. But definitely best would be doing an alignment just to make sure it's still in the correct position, since I had to eyeball this. But yeah, now it's a matter of getting this here in there. So, well, I'll just do this backwards. So I guess I'll put this one in first. Or should I put that one in first? Maybe that one would be easier. I don't know. It's kind of tough to say. And I did look in the service manual real quick. And so if you don't have a service manual, go check out the video I have. There's a link down below in the description, how to get that service manual, because it has information in there. I looked it up real quick in between, and they make it sound really easy. I think they also base theirs on an air spring, not necessarily on the coil spring that we have here, because I believe the air spring, once you have it in jack mode, it won't be having pressure like this spring here, so we don't have the pressure down, so it may be easier to do this with air springs. Maybe, I don't know. But yeah, so also I got the torques from there, torque for here, here, and here, so that we can torque that to specifications. These are pretty important bolts, so we want to torque those with a torque wrench. Well, let's see if we can get this in there. And you should put it in the right way, so make sure the bolt joint is facing down here, that the bolt comes out the bottom. This one's pretty tight, but that's probably a good thing. Let's see if we can. I think I'm lining up. Oh, wrong bolt. Let's see. There we go. Just gotta wiggle the things around a little. And then, so eventually we wanna line up the marks there again, but we also gotta put the washer on the other side and the nut, so that this bolt doesn't back out, and so that the washer is held in on the other side, and then I can turn the bolt here and line my markings up. All right, so we got this in here, still loose. You can see it still moves around. That's the idea, so that we can wiggle this a little bit as needed to get this one and that one on here. And whew, well, let's see how that goes. Like I said, we got the coil spring up there pressing down on this. So this here needs to go in here first, and then that one needs to go on there after that. So, and well, this is being pretty heavy right here, so that may be a little issue. We'll find out. I still got this little Christmas tree thing here holding the ABS cable. Let's see. There we go. Got that out. And that gives me a little more room here. So right now this whole thing is basically held up by the stabilizer here, by the link, because it's not attached to the A-arm up above. But I need to get it off there again so I can bring it out and set this in from the top. And this sucker is just freaking heavy. So an option is using a floor jack or something under here would be definitely an option. We'll see how this goes here. There we go. Now, gotta work it down. Get the arm up. Good. Okay, let me see here. So I got it in down here, this one right here. Now, look at this here. See what happens? So as I'm trying to get this up, it will put pressure on the stabilizer bar here, on the step bar coming across, because it wants to even out left and right side. Well, the other side sitting on the ground, this one's up. So that's why we have pressure on it. If you do this on a lift, with both wheels off the ground, you won't have that problem. The other thing is you could use a floor jack on the other side as well and raise it up. Then we wouldn't have that much pressure on there. So I'll have to see if I can get this back up here and we'll go from there. All right, that didn't work out. At least not as planned. Came apart right there. Stabilizer link came off, popped off the ball right there as I was trying to force it back in place. Well, now that this one is out, I guess it will go up, and then we'll deal with the stab link in a little bit. All right. Okay. Can't get this any higher because it's hitting the strut. Can't get the A-arm to come down. That's kind of a cluster here. There we go. Oh, now where did my bolt go? Right here. Let's get... There we go. Wow. Okay, that thing is heavy. It's probably best if you lift both sides up, then you don't have the stabilizer link issue. And maybe use a floor jack under this part here, under here. That probably makes it easier. But hey, I like it difficult, right? So, yeah. Now we gotta get the strut attached, which actually, without the stabilizer link pushing on it, now seems to be easy. So that is the key. So don't do as I do, lift the other side as well, so you got the car up the same amount on both sides. Rather than supporting it in the back here, just lift the two front ends up. You can set the other side down on blocks like I have the back here if you want to, I guess. Oh no, that don't work. Don't do that because the suspension has to hang the same amount. So yeah, it's got to be up on jack stands, on floor jacks on both sides. Then you have a even pressure here, or actually there's hardly any pressure then from the stabilizer bar. So all right, gotta get the bolt in down there. All right. It requires a little tricky maneuvering, but got it in. And before we forget, might as well put the clip back on for the brake line. There we go. All right. So the only trouble thing is this now. As you can see, right here is the attachment point on the steering knuckle here, and there's the step bar. So the step bar's way up. So I have to lift up the other side. I don't think there's any other way. I got to get a floor check on the other side, and then this hopefully comes down. At least that's the plan, so let's see. So I got a floor check on this side now, and I'm not nearly as high as I am on the other side, if I can show you that. Okay, but that's not important that I'm exactly at the same height. Important is this here. So there is no pressure up on the suspension. So that suspension dropped as much as the other side, and now our stabilizer link should be in about the right position. Let's go look here. And if we look right here now, see, now we're down here. Well, it's on the wrong side, but basically back here is the ball that it goes onto, and so it would be right there. Before it was up here, so several inches higher. Well, this thing is bad too. It's got a bad boot up here. This boot up here is broken. Unfortunately, the one from my salvage has also a broken boot. So we'll see. Maybe I can use this boot down here and install it on the salvage one at the top or something. I gotta figure it out, so let's see. I gotta take this off here anyway, so we gotta undo it here, and we gotta undo it down there on the stabilizer bar. All right, so we got this out. There we go. And so right here, that's where that boot is broken, or at least it came off or something, I don't know. Now the half part's still on there, so it's broken here. So I want to see if I can possibly swap this boot. I think there's like a metal clip that goes around that holds it in place. Obviously this side here, we got the ball that popped out, so I would assume this side is no good anyway. So I'll be using the stab link from my salvage and see if I can just put a new boot, actually take this boot, not a new one, take this boot off here and put it at the top part on the salvage one and see if we can make that work. Well, I was able to swap it. Here you can see that's the one I put on here. So this link is the one from our salvage Tesla, and this here feels a little loose on the bottom. This up here feels tighter. This here feels really loose, and well, this one popped out. So this one that came from here, I think was definitely more worn than the one from the salvage. So I got this little boot off here, and it's held in place with some spring type rings. Here you can see that opens up. That is the little ring that goes up here, that goes around there. So you can get under with a screwdriver and then grab them with some pliers. I actually used some little tiny vice grips so I could clip them on and then work them off with the screwdriver and holding the vice grips. So, and then this here is the big one, and this one is a little bigger. So let me see if I can show that there, if you can see that. So that's how this one is. But same deal, you kind of get under there, grab at one end, and then you probably can work it out with a screwdriver or grab it with pliers around and just kind of slowly get it off. And then getting it on, similar, or I was able to grab it kind of with the hands and my fingernails and kind of work it back on there. So yeah, so I got like a brand new brand new to this car link here. And important is, by the way, there's two of them, the two sides. Okay, so there's this yellowish one here with the yellow mark here, and that's, by the way, that's the top. Also, you can see this end and that end, they're different, so it's important that you put them in the right way. This is the one we took out, which has the silver, just like this, and you can hold them next to each other, and then you can see here, those are the correct ones. If you go like this, that's going the other way, so that's incorrect. So we're putting this one in here, and well, hopefully this one is better than the old one we took out. And well, as long as the rattling noise is gone, we're all good. So gotta put this in. I gotta tighten all the bolts. I haven't tightened any of the bolts yet, so they gotta be tightened and torqued. But basically it's assembled except for this. Gotta redo the ABS cable here, that's still hanging there. That's no big deal. So well, let's get going. So to get the stabilizer link in, that just took a little bit of pressure. That was really not hard at all. Okay, so I got them all tightened. This one up here, this one on the bottom, the one for the strut on the bottom. I got the stabilizer link tightened. So the last one is the one in there with the washer, with that special bolt, that cam bolt that allows us to adjust. So now I need to get under there and turn the bolt and hold it so my marks line up, and then tighten the nut. And then torque wrench needs to come out, and all the bolts need torqued. Cable still needs to go on, wheel needs to go on, torque, and off we go. Look at those marks. I would say they line up beautiful. So if I done my job right with marking it and transferring it, then we should be fine here. So right now this is tight, so we can no longer turn this side at all. So we gotta go to the other side. Over here we gotta turn the nut. So we gotta get on there with a torque wrench, which that will have to be a open end wrench. So we can't use the regular torque wrench that uses sockets. So we gotta go a little different here, but that's what we need to do. So, well, let's torque those bolts. I do have a variety of torque wrenches here. Smallest, medium, and then this here's the large one. Okay, and for that nut on the cam bolt, you need some of these attachments here, basically. Let's see if I can get one out real quick. You need a open end type like this, so that you can just put that onto your torque wrench like that, since a socket would take up too much space. So you got to do it like this. So yeah, I will go ahead and torque all these, put the wheel on, got to still attach this wire here, and then we'll be good to go. All right, they're all tight. It's a little tricky to get in places, but it's all doable. So wheel got to go back on, and well, heck, then we go on the test drive. So let's get the wheel back over here and see if we can get this going quickly. So the first one I got to was a little tight. So I went back around and loosened them up a little bit, because you don't want to just torque if the bolt's already tight and you just click right away, then it may be over torqued. So you want to loosen it up and then tighten it properly. There we go. And quite frequently I see people at the tire store, they go really quick on here and they go like this. And it clicked and then it went a little bit. So now it's actually over torqued. So that is not the right way. So to get proper torque, you're going slow until you get the click. Okay, so the jerk reaction, actually, it will click too soon, or you'll push it after the click. So then it may be either under or over torque, so you don't know. So the right way is go on and then slowly, and it needs to turn and then click. That's the proper way to torque any bolt. Okay, last thing, we got to put the caps on, and then we'll go on a test drive and see. Oops, the camera almost fell off. But that's not the bad part. But can you hear this clunking? The funny thing is, I did not hear this clunky rattling noise while I was driving the car. But I can hear it on 2 of the audio recordings inside the car. So I suspect it is the tripod for the GoPro rattling against the fender outside that actually caused it. I did drive the car again, and no, this rattle wasn't there. So no, the rattle that we wanted to fix is fixed. It is gone. So that rattle is definitely gone. So I'm pretty sure that was the control arm on the bottom. I don't know if the stab link had anything to do with it. It had a broken boot and it felt relatively loose, so it could be it's a relatively common issue too. But in any event, we got a new boot on there and we got a stab link that seems to be all right. And yeah, so the rattle noise is gone. That's a good thing. I'm pretty sure there will be another rattling noise coming up, probably from the other side here pretty soon. Now that we cured the one close to the driver, we'll hear the other one probably here shortly. It's kind of how this goes. But yeah, overall, this is not too bad. Best thing is make sure you lift both sides on the front the same amount, so you don't have to deal with the stab link like I had to with the tension on it. There's just very little tension on it at that point, so that makes it a lot easier. All right, well, that is it for this video. Please give us a thumbs up for this video. Make sure that you are subscribed to our channel so you don't miss out on any of the future videos. We also have a whole bunch of other videos, so click on our channel icon and go check those videos out. We got travel videos with this 2013 200,000 mile rear wheel drive Tesla in the wintertime, in the summertime. We got stuff with our 2018 Model 3 here. We just did trip to Vegas. That's 1,000 miles. We went there in one day, 1,000 miles, and then on the way back 7 days later, 1,000 miles in one day. So it's possible. So go check that video out. If you have range anxiety and are not 100% sure about traveling, check out those videos. We also got videos with the Chevy Bolt, so you can even travel with that. We have travel videos with it, doing 500 miles a day, no big deal. So it's all there. So go check those out on our channel. We have other repair videos. We got lots of interesting stuff. So yeah, make sure you are subscribed. Always give us a thumbs up for our videos, please. We also have a Redbubble store. There's a link down below in the description. Maybe go check it out. You might like something we have. Well, in any event, thank you for watching. Goodbye.